You're watching ESPN's Champ Week, presented by Principal. Tonight, in the shadow of the Statue of Liberty, the Northeast Conference Championship. 37th championship game in just the second time a pair of teams from New York City have met. LIU Brooklyn against the top seed Wagner. Winner goes to the NCAA tournament, and both coaches ready to fire up the troops, starting with the Blackbirds' Derek Kellogg.
Rebound the basketball and push in transition. And lastly, 1F, 1F. One family, one focus for the full team.
Do everything it takes. Guards, we talked about cracking down, getting rebounds. We talked about them ISO. Ramon, we need you to step up, right? Everything that it takes.
Let's go. Glad to have you with us. The Spiro Athletic Center is going to be rocking tonight. I can assure you that. Reese Davis and Tom Crean. Olivia Harlan joins us in just a couple of minutes. No secrets between these two, Tom. They've split regular season meetings. What are you looking for in terms of managing emotion tonight?
Well, right now, coaches are the best at overusing. This is what it's all about. It's not overused tonight. This is truly what it is. And in the sense of, you want your team to come out three things. You want them to come out very serious. You want them to come out focused, and you want them to come out in character. Don't start trying to do things that you don't do, that we don't do as a team. Play together, play as one, and let's have some fun from that.
And we already have a whistle. Earl Walton, Donnie Epley, and Robert Riley, our officials tonight. Wagner has been to the NCAA tournament just one time in 2003. LIU Brooklyn has made it to the NCAA 6 times. Neither has ever won a game, but right now winning this game and getting back to the dance. Brooklyn's case for the first time since 2013 is imperative. Here's an all-conference player, Joel Hernandez, for Brooklyn. Watch him plenty. He's had 4 straight 20-point games, Tom, wearing 0 for the Blackbirds. First shot of the night, fired up by Jayshon Agosto, and is no good. And here comes Devin Liggins, wearing that face mask because of a sinus issue that he encountered in the Central Connecticut game. It's given him better breathing capabilities, they say, so he's been continuing to wear it. Each team's missed a shot now as Ramon Saunders misses.
Hey, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it, right? I think we got a lot of tradition, a lot of superstitions inside of both of these teams and coaches, so it'll be fun to watch how it all plays out.
Saunders doing an excellent job in forcing the turnover, taking it away from Hernandez. Now you're going to see a much more controlled type of pace from Wagner and the White. This is a defensive-oriented team, while LIU Brooklyn wants to get up and down and play at a faster pace.
Oh, absolutely. And both teams want to attack in transition. They want to get to the rim. The pass is optional. They want to get to the basket in transition. And right now, turnovers are going to be such a key. That point in time, Wagner couldn't capitalize on that first turnover. But points off turnovers are huge when these two teams meet.
Another thing to watch tonight is, can Wagner stay out of foul trouble? The Blackbirds of Brooklyn have gotten to the free throw line in the 2 regular season meetings, an average of 28 times per game. And backing down and spinning was Julian Batts, and the good defense will draw on the foul.
Well, real key is how they guard Batts, because he had 21 the last game. He loves to spin, and he pushed off, and they knew it was coming. That's tremendous defense.
There's Blake Francis on the defense. He is a leading scorer for the Seahawks, better than 17 per game, but showing off the defense, because if you don't play defense for Bashir Mason, you're not getting on.
Oh, there's no doubt about that. I mean, there is no doubt, and you can feel that energy as soon as you're in the walkthrough and the practice. I mean, this team is all about the hustle game.
You see some anxiety in the early going, and there's another offensive foul, and again, it's Francis drawing it.
They come down, they want to get to the basket. A great job by Blake Francis, standing his ground, taking it right in the chest. Those are the turnovers that you do not want to have early in the game. That's the third one. That is not what's going to serve well for Long Island, especially Reese. In the 2 games, they were 39-12 points off turnovers. Wagner and the advantage with that. That is just a huge, huge number.
Raekwon Clark, and there's another opportunity, and there's another offensive foul. Tremendous job by the all-conference player, JoJo Cooper, to set his feet Give the offensive player time to turn around, and it's another charge.
You can watch a lot of games in championship week, but you're going to be hard-pressed to find a better defensive play than that. It was perfect. I don't know if I've ever seen, there's games that you could go 3 weeks without 3 charges, let alone 3 in a row. Incredible defensive intensity and presence.
Just about every perimeter player for LIU Brooklyn's been called for one, with Jayshon Augusto being called for the latest one. And we've got a whistle fest going on at the moment, and foul is going to be called on Julian Batts, and that's his second already in the early going. We haven't played 3 minutes yet.
Yeah, not a good start for Batts. Again, scored 21 points the last time that they met. He was 4-6 from 3. He's the guy he's that third scorer. When you look at Hernandez, when you look at Clark, it's Batts. And now to take him off the floor this early is going to be tough.
Get a little more size by bringing Jamal Robinson into the game. He is a senior, transfer from Hofstra, where he started his career. Did not score in the semifinal game against FDU. Shot on the way, and it's reined in by Devin Liggins. And we've finally broken the ice. Tom, we're on the board.
Absolutely. And why take that mask off ever when you got the confidence to take a shot like that early in this game?
That is one area in which Devin hasn't necessarily been proficient, but he shot that one with confidence. Strong drive to the basket, and drawing the foul is Julius Van Sowers, the sophomore from Amsterdam.
And this is a step up, because showing him aggressive, watching Van Sowers be aggressive with that drive, all right, and being able to play. They know that Clark wants to drive the ball. They know that Hernandez wants to drive the ball. They're pretty much looking at him as a pick-and-pop player, Van Sowers, and to make that drive is impressive.
Those 2 points, 2 more than Van Sowers had the last time he was in this building. He was held scoreless. Great dump inside, and A.J. Sumbry with the finish. And Sowers again at the top. Joel Hernandez never shy, and he's got a 3 ball.
He has got some, I don't care what league, I don't care what part of the country, his footwork offensively with his jump shot, some of the best in the country. He does a great job getting both feet down, getting it off quick. He is a bona fide scorer in the lane, at the rim, and certainly from 3.
You call this, we're going to see a ton of step-back jumpers. Blake Francis missing that one. Augusto pushing it into the front court.
Yeah, I'm not sure. These 2 teams, they've got to be in the top 5 in the country and utilizing the step-back. I'm not sure we keep a stat for that. I know ESPN Stats and News has got it somewhere, but I'm putting these 2 up with anybody.
That is an awkward-looking shot from Raekwon Clark. Francis now used that arm to gain a little leverage, but no call. And Cooper will settle them down, the senior from Wilmington, Delaware. Wagner's had a history of heartbreak in this tournament, just 1-3 Northeast Conference Finals. And how about the mask? Wiggins with another 3 ball.
Got to get his hand up. There was Clark. Clark is too good a defender to let a guy that just made a 3 stand there and take another open 3.
Tom, he only averages 6.5 points per game. He's already got 6 here.
Absolutely.
Augusto wanted to shoot it, couldn't. Hernandez, oh good, and then Sumbry, I think, was last to touch it, and finally got the lid off that bucket, and the homestanding Seahawks up by 3 in the early going of the NEC Championship.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal, Investments, Retirement, Insurance, and Sonic, where real ice cream slushes, shakes, and floats are half price after 8 p.m.
Last year in the Northeast Conference semifinal, Wagner against St. Francis, the Seahawks, the higher seed at home, holding a 2-point lead, but St. Francis, Keith Braxton, there's no way this should go in, except that it does, and it wins the game. It took St. Francis to the title game where they lost to Mount St. Mary's, and it was a devastating blow for Wagner to lose by 1. Olivia Harlan is with us now on how that's provided motivation, Olivia.
Well, yeah, Reese, Wagner was not expected to have this kind of season. In fact, many thought that this would be a rebuilding year for the Seahawks, but not Coach Mason. He said to his guys early on, avoid all the outside noise, ignore it, why not us? But like you said, with 3 of their top 4 shooters from last year, he's had to get a little creative. That's where guard JoJo Cooper comes in, the only starting senior. This summer, Coach Mason told him he had to improve his shooting, and that even if they're not falling on some nights, he's not taking him out of the game. He says, we'll march to your drum. Well, guys, it all comes down to this game for the senior. A couple of his teammates even told me this one's for JoJo. No points yet, but Tom, like you said, a great defensive play already.
He really has. To get two charges like that, the way that he did, just impressive.
Sunbury loses it in a turnover. LIU Brooklyn coming back this way. You know, to Olivia's point, Tom, in that game that Wagner lost last year, Corey Henson had 25 points. They thought they'd have him back. He opted to transfer to Nevada in August. But he's one of the scorers that they had to find a way to replace. And Cooper in a preseason scrimmage against Georgetown, as Francis lets fly and is long on the 3, acted as if he told Bashir Mason he wasn't really getting it done. He said, I'm messing this whole thing up, acting as if he wanted to come out of the game. He said, remember what I told you, you're not coming out. And there is Bashir Mason, the 34-year-old head coach at Wagner in his 6th season here, winning the regular season for the 2nd time in 3 years, and he is a 2-time Northeast Conference Coach of the Year already.
Well, he is. You can see it in practice. I mean, he's got a presence, and I think your culture speaks so loudly when you're not even there. And watching the day before he even got out to the floor to see the presence his team had, the togetherness that they had, watching them on film, they're way more than well coached. They are absolutely highly connected.
And this is one of the better defensive teams statistically in the country, and so far, and showing why. This is what Brooklyn would like to do. Beat him down the floor and let Hernandez work one-on-one, and he scores.
Well, that's exactly. He is so talented at playing at so many different levels. And Derek Kellogg has always given his players confidence, whether it's at UMass, whether it's an assistant with John Calipari at Memphis. You name it. He played with confidence. People forget. He was on the all-regional team, all right, in the NCAA tournament as a guard that didn't take a lot of shots. He's always been a hustle, scrap, find a way to make his team better guy.
And we've got another charge, and again it's drawn by Blake Francis.
It's incredible. 8 points, 4 charges.
Augusto picks up his 2nd. Julian Batts already on the bench with 2, and now Augusto's going to play for the moment with a couple of fouls as Elijah Davis, number 21, checks into the game for Wagner. There is Derek Kellogg, who's in his 1st season as the Blackbirds head coach after spending 9 years at his alma mater, UMass.
Well, and again, a tremendous coach, excellent resiliency. Talking to John Calipari, who coached him, he talked about him being a great teammate, you know, loved to serve his team. He made himself a player and a scorer. All right, and they play the way he played. Aggressive, take chances, be aggressive, and it shows in the way he's coaching.
How about that block from Joel Hernandez? Cooper got to the rim, and Hernandez said, no soup for you.
Well, Joel is so much more than a shooter. He is a tremendous athlete, got great strength, timed it up perfectly. I thought I was watching Sagamore Kanate right there from West Virginia. Just timed it up wonderfully.
Big, strong guard, 2nd in this conference in scoring to the outstanding Junior Robinson from Mount St. Mary. A lot of good guards in this league. Augusto's one of them, and he kicks it out. An open 3 ball. Won't go down from Jamal Robinson. And LIU Brooklyn had a little trouble getting the offense going.
Well, both teams right now love to attack the rim in transition. And without a doubt, Wagner is taking that away because they're not even thinking about stopping the ball high. They're getting to the rim to stop the ball. Right now, what LIU has got to do is if they do not have a clean layup, right now they're driving through the defender. You either got to drive by them or you got to make the pass early and try to get them in rotation in transition defense. Because it's become a one-on-one game at the rim, and LIU is not winning that. except for that play right there.
and that's it. Joel Hernandez, again, will have the chance for the three-point play. This is a guy who's averaging 25.5 points per game in the Northeast Conference tournament, and he just took it right through the chest of Elijah Davis.
Watch him drop that shoulder. He leads in with the shoulder, okay? There's no verticality inside of that for Elijah Davis, who is a very good defender. He has very good verticality usually. But he drove into him, created the contact, and he's strong enough to not only get the contact, but to make the finish.
LIU Brooklyn with a 10-8 lead inside the 12-minute mark here in the first half. Reese Davis, Tom Crean, and Olivia Harlan, glad to have you with us on Champ Week. 5 tickets will be punched to the NCAA tournament tonight, including one right here in the Northeast Conference. On the road, Brooklyn has a 2-point lead thanks to 8 points from Hernandez.
Quinnipiac back to the NCAA tournament.
The Iona Gales have owned this MAC tournament.
And for just the 3rd time ever, there will be dancing in Greensboro tonight.
And who will join? The teams have already punched their tickets so far. 7 are into the field. How about Lipscomb from the Atlantic Sun going in for the first time? School in Nashville that once upon a time was a power at the NAIA level, making it into the tournament. These teams are vying to join the squads already, and by the end of the evening, we'll have 12 of the 68 officially in the tournament.
Just nothing like it. And you mentioned Lipscomb. All right, they're not one of the better three-point shooting teams in the country, and all they do is go into Gulf Coast and make 15 threes inside of that game. Anything can happen in March, and what we've already seen from some of these early games is that is exactly the way it's shaping up.
A 3, a 2, anything that goes through the net would suffice for Wagner. They're over 3.5 minutes without a field goal. There's Francis driving, it won't go down. Jack Scott got a hand on it, and Francis out with a fresh shot clock.
Wagner's added Nigel Jackson. He had a tremendous first half. Oh, look at the 3, Nigel. Look at the 3. He had a tremendous first half 2 weeks ago when they played. Oh, guard rebounds. When you're getting that.
Well, JoJo Cooper does a lot of that. Another 3 on the way. And I think the foul is going to be called on Hernandez. Olivia, what about the Seahawk defense?
Well, guys, you know Bashir Mason is all about defense. We saw that in their shoot-around today, too, and that's what he stressed in his huddle. He's stressing individual defense especially. He really thinks his players can outwork some of these LIU point guards especially.
Well, so far he is absolutely right with the way that they're getting things done in transition D. Because it's one thing to get the ball stopped. It's a whole other thing to create that turnover off charges. Charges demoralize the opponent, and it really makes you gun shy to be able to get into the lane, all right, and try to make that play in transition.
Blake Francis driving, throwing up a wild one over Hernandez, crashing the boards is Nigel Jackson. It won't go. And pulling it out is Zach Coleman, the transfer from UMass. Back on the floor, Tom, right now for LIU Brooklyn and Julian Batts playing with 2 fouls. That's because Jason Augusto has gone to the bench with 3.
He had Augusto wide open on that kick. This is what they want to defend when Hernandez starts to go into the isolation game. Look how everybody and loads over to the ball.
Batts the lefty.
Again, hand up late. All right, the wing forwards are getting caught on the guards, and right now they're not using their length to their advantage with any hand pressure at all on the ball. That's why these guys on both teams are getting open threes. Giddens before and now with Batts.
Well, Batts had 21 the last time these two played here in this building, and LIU is on an 8-0 run. JoJo Cooper on the drive, and now the fouls are starting to pile up a little bit. That's the second one on Joel Hernandez.
Well, in this last play, Hernandez wanted the isolation. Everybody loaded the ball. They found Batts. Look at Nigel Jackson. He's playing him, but no hand up. You cannot, everything is on the line. You can't play defense like that in the summertime, all right, especially in a championship game. You've got to have your hands active and put pressure on the shooter.
Now we're going to see a little bit about the maturity of Joel Hernandez and Julian Batts. Two of the leaders on this LIU team playing in a hostile environment, both having to deal with 2 fouls and still 9:47 to go. And other of their running mates, Augusto on the bench with 3 in the first half.
Well, one of the keys to Wagner's defense, outside of that man-to-man, one-on-one defense that Olivia talked about, is how can they keep Hernandez from catching the ball? All right, how can they bring frustration to the game when he's not getting the touches and the looks to get into a scoring area? So far, that hasn't happened. He's going against defenders, but he's been able to get the ball fairly easily.
The man who was going against on that trip, JoJo Cooper, is one of the better defenders, if not the best defender as a guard in this league, making Hernandez work, and Hernandez draws a little contact leaning into him.
Such a savvy play on that, because everybody's watching the ball in that situation. They know that Hernandez wants to shoot it. So there's help there. All you've got to do is stand your ground. But he is so crafty with not only his footwork, but with his shot fake game. And that's exactly how he got the foul.
And the first foul on Cooper. Hernandez, not a great free throw shooter, 66%, misses the first. ACC tournament is in full swing. Second round action coming up from Barclays Center in Brooklyn at noon. It's Florida State and Louisville. Joey Brackett says Louisville first 4 out. Florida State's a 9 seed. ACC tournament runs through the championship game Saturday night, 8:30 on ESPN. All of the games available on the ESPN app. We'll be there with our entire College Game Day guys.
I can't wait for that Virginia Tech Notre Dame game. I'll be in the studio. That will be a great game. It is every time that Buzz Williams goes against Mike Brey, but now you add Bonzie Colson back to it. Major game for both teams. Probably more so for Notre Dame, but will be a great matchup inside of tomorrow.
If I were in that committee room, I would be pushing Notre Dame into the field with a healthy Bonzie Colson.
Well,
agree or disagree?
No doubt about it. I mean, because they shoot the ball, they pass the look test in every area. They've had big wins, and Bonzie Colson was a contender for National Player of the Year when he got hurt. Like, not a top 10 contender, but one of the top 3, 4, 5 contenders for that position. And hopefully that they'll understand that, because I think he is outstanding, and the way that team moves the basketball is really fun to watch.
Another team, Syracuse, is sitting on the bubble, trying to play its way in the ACC tournament. Our research guys gave me a note that I didn't realize over the weekend when we were at Duke for Duke Carolina and College Game Day. You know, neither Syracuse nor Louisville, they're relatively short time in the ACC. Neither have won an ACC tournament game.
That's amazing. That goes to that's something we did not know. That is the nugget of the night. But I like Syracuse because I like the improvement of Tyus Battle. O'Shea Brissett has had a fantastic freshman year. But Franklin Howard has been dependable. Tyus Battle is emerging into a star.
The guy who's emerging for the Wagner offense is Devin Liggins, who scored again. He's already exceeded his season average. He's really kept Wagner fairly close here. He's got 8 of their 12 points. It's a 14-12 lead for the 4th seed LIU against the top seed and regular season champion Wagner. Well, and foul is going to be called on A.J. Sumbry.
Devin Liggins is a 31% three-point shooter. All right, and you can gamble on that. Okay, we're going to let him get a shot. Well, he made the first one, and he made it clean. Then they didn't challenge the second one. Now that rim, okay, looks like the Atlantic Ocean to him. And you never want to give a non-shooter, a non-dependable three-point shooter, that confidence early.
That free throw, Hernandez is into double figures. The 3rd leading active scorer in this conference, 2nd in scoring this year, better than 20 points per game, but didn't have a great outing the last time in this building. Just scored 12 points and 3 of 15 from the floor. Cooper on the push. Francis from the corner. Wagner will get another opportunity. Might as well take it himself. Elijah Davis can't get it. Kick it back out, long 3 on the way, and Jackson misses. He's got another chance, this time to the bucket. Circus shot won't go. And everything's just a little quick for both teams right now, particularly for Wagner. And we get to the under 8 media timeout. So much emotion in this game, Tom.
Oh, it is. And if I'm Bashir Mason right now, I'm saying we're getting great looks. Keep shooting the ball.
On the right of your screen, Derek Kellogg, the head coach at LIU Brooklyn. Hidden behind his huddle is Bashir Mason. These guys, Tom, have a little bit of a connection.
Look at Calipari.
Guys.
Look at Cal. He looks 12.
And then Bashir Mason played for Dan Hurley, coached for him at St. Benedict's and here at Wagner, and then took over for him when he went to Rhode Island.
Well, when you look at this lineage, and now you see Bruiser Flint, who helped recruit Bashir, coached him, and elevated his game. Defensive Player of the Year, we found out, his freshman year. Then my old counterpart, Chuck Martin, worked with him at Drexel, got him started coaching at Marist. There are so many connections. Another guy they're all connected to, TJ Gassinola, who runs the New England Players. All right, he's Derek Kellogg's lifelong best friend, and he had Bashir Mason with Jimmy Salmon and the New Jersey Players. They were so good they had to split into two teams back when he played with Demetrius Nichols. There is so many history between the two of these guys and connections with big-time basketball people.
And you saw Kellogg behind Bruiser Flint as an assistant, so both of these coaches played for Bruiser during their career as Joel Hernandez using his strength.
Absolutely. Well, when you start talking about Bruiser Flint, Calipari, Danny Hurley, you're talking about pure toughness. No possessions off. You're going to do it right. You're going to do it right every day, and you're going to enjoy it. And that's exactly what these coaches bring.
Offensive rebound from Liggins. Ball's loose again. That thing's being handled as if it's going to explode soon. People need to take care of the ball.
You know what? I know it's basketball, but we could be dealing with rugby right now because there are some scrums, the loose balls. This is a 50-50 battle. Great jump shot off the paint.
That was Raul Frias into the game. The junior from Miami did not score in the semifinal against Fairleigh Dickinson. Had just a bucket the last time he faced the Seahawks, but wanted to give his team a 5-point lead as we go inside the 6-minute mark here in the first half.
You know what, Reese, who uses the bench the best because of the fatigue level that's already kicking in because of how hard and competitive these guys are. Who uses their bench the best is going to have a great opportunity to win this game at the end.
Francis finally gets one to go. He had missed his first 7 shots. And gets to the bucket. He had to beat the shot clock, too. The previous shot from Cooper at the side of the backboard, so he didn't have a fresh 30.
And I'm down on Cooper. I mean, on Francis. What's it been, 5 minutes since he drew a charge?
Yeah. He got 3 in the early. There's Bashir Mason. Olivia, he's a bit of a superstitious fella, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right, guys. He was telling us today how he sits in his car most of a game day listening to sports talk radio and some music, and we even saw him walking in the game. But, guys, his mom's here today, and that means the world to him. She flew up from Florida. She had such an influence on his life to help him get here and stay off the streets in Jersey City. He was telling us that story at the Boys and Girls Club, $10 a month, kept him safe and off the streets, and got him to St. Benedict's, like you talked about.
Yeah, Olivia, it was a tough upbringing, but when the people in the neighborhood saw that Bashir had a future, they would let him know of stuff that he didn't want to be involved in was about to go down, and he said he would just get the warning signal, go to the house, and basketball has been a great vehicle for him, and he's having what a wonderful start to his career. Just 34 years of age in his 6th season, already a 2-time Coach of the Year, and trying to get into the NCAA tournament for the first time.
Well, you know what? He's intense, but he's poised. And I mentioned earlier he's got presence, and that presence comes out a lot of ways. It comes out on how hard they play. It comes out on how competitive they are. But you can tell by watching him and talking to him, he has got very deep-rooted connections with his players. And that is impressive. And that's been one of the strengths of Derek Kellogg. I mean, we're watching 2 guys tonight and 2 outstanding staffs that have won, know how to win, have done it as players, and are doing it as coaches. Bashir has got an outstanding future in front of him.
A cross-body block from Raul Frias against Blake Francis. Foul called not in the act of shooting. They're calling it a 1-and-1. Bashir Mason was nicknamed the General in high school because he kept his teammates in line. The name Bashir actually means one who leads. So perhaps he was destined from the time he was named to be in charge.
Well, he's obviously doing some things right, and he respects the lineage that he has, because you can see parts of all the people that he's played for and coached with, in the case of Danny Hurley, come out with the way that he coaches. He's his own man, but he's taken those things from them and he's added it to his entire game plan.
Boy, Wagner just can't get a soft home rim as Saunders drove all the way to the bucket and somehow it hit the eject button. Going for a second straight three was Batts, and that was way short.
Well, and it was way challenged. That was not a good shot. I mean, you're not going to win on the road taking threes like that.
Or making passes like that, though Wiggins came up with it and traveled on his way to the basket.
I like what JoJo Cooper's doing right now. He's pulling them together. Right now, the game is frenzied. It's frantic. And there's too many passes and plays being made that don't have the chance. Who settles their team down the best right now in the next 4 minutes is going to be big.
And Tom, isn't that a result of what's at stake here? Not totally, but at least in part the adrenaline, the anxiety that you feel, and having to find a way to harness that?
No question, because you could see they're already into their second win. We had some guys that were gassed early in this game because they're playing so hard and because they know what's on top. That would have been a flop. Good non-call by the referee. He didn't hit him hard enough to knock him down.
And Hernandez, the bucket, he has 14 now, and LIU Brooklyn out 24-16. It's their biggest lead. Really loose handle from Elijah Davis. He might be fortunate to get it back.
Well, he's fortunate because he drove it in the wrong direction.
Foul is going to be called on Julius Van Sowers as JoJo Cooper was driving. Wagner has suffered some heartbreak at home in this tournament. Hernandez hoping to add to it, and right now, LIU Brooklyn on the road with an 8-point edge. All right, Kevin, we'll look forward to it. Going to the free throw line is JoJo Cooper. The reason that Wagner is struggling, their top three scorers, JoJo Cooper, Blake Francis, and Ramon Saunders, are a combined 1 of 15 from the floor, and Cooper, a 74% free throw shooter, misses, and the Blackbirds have a chance to push this lead to double figures.
No question, and they are missing open shots. There's been a few challenge ones, but they're missing open J's. And you just got to keep your team's confidence up. Those shots are going to go. You're at home. Just don't start trying to manufacture shots.
Raekwon Clark with an air ball layup. Hernandez with a chance for a three-point play. He's got 16 in the first half, and LIU Brooklyn is up by double figures.
That man is not playing around inside that lane. They wanted to be able to stop him. He is doing whatever he wants inside of this game. He's getting free, he's making one-on-one plays, and he is just bulldozing to that basket to offensive rebound. And I think he's playing through fatigue because he started looking winded to me about the 12-minute mark. I mean, this guy is on it.
He's here for his 5th year. He broke his wrist in the season opener last year. Had the opportunity with the coaching change perhaps to go somewhere else, finish his career, but when Derek Kellogg took over, believed in the opportunity, and man, has it paid off. The style of play, he's had a sensational season, and hoping to cap it with a trip to the NCAA tournament. An 11-point lead for LIU.
Well, I thought we'd see the world's record for step backs, and Hernandez would be a part of it. They haven't needed him yet. Maybe that's what Wagner's missing.
Jack Scott, explosive athlete. Coleman touched it last. It'll stay with the Seahawks. Wednesday night NBA doubleheader starts in Detroit. Pistons hosting DeMar DeRozan and listen to this closely, the Eastern Conference leading Raptors at 8 Eastern. Then LeBron and the Cavs take on the Nuggets. Coverage starts with NBA Countdown at 7 Eastern on ESPN and the ESPN app.
Shout out OG Anunoby, my man from Indiana. So starting for the Raptors, they are fun to watch. DeMar DeRozan, he writes the book on how to have a mid-range game. Dwayne Casey is one of the most underrated coaches in all of sports. I don't care what sport. He is so good.
He certainly put his team in good position up to this point. Wagner, the long three coming from Nigel Jackson. Again, it's no good. And Wagner's just out of sync on offense. LIU's not known as a great defensive team. Hernandez, look at the floor burns. Hernandez gets the ball first. Who would be surprised by that? Kellogg gets the timeout. Clark was helping him call it on the floor. And we'll have a quick timeout here with Brooklyn with a big lead late in the first half.
You got to bring a little bit more every time into March. When it comes to 50-50 balls, loose balls, that ball's on the floor. It is not safe for anybody. All right, tying up, looking for the loose ball. I love how LIU got on the floor for that. They know that they are in a tough environment, and if they're not the toughest group inside of this gym, all right, they're not going to be able to win. So far, they have been. Wagner's just got to relax. The shots will go, as we keep saying, but they've got to find a way to keep the ball out of Hernandez's hands.
Wagner is on track to have its worst first half of the season in terms of field goal percentage. They shot 26% against Missouri. Right now, a rather frigid 20% from the floor for the regular season champions in the Northeast Conference. No answer for Hernandez. That time he couldn't get it to fall. Liggins, who's had a solid first half for the Seahawks. Here comes Cooper looking to get it going. And JoJo Cooper to the bucket.
Got him. He caught him with his feet down. Oh, look at the baseball pass.
Raekwon Clark had it knocked away. Blackbirds will keep it with 92 seconds left.
Yeah, they're doing this without Raekwon Clark. Is such a good athlete. He is so tough. I believe he came here as a walk-on. And he's a little bit feast or famine. You got to live with the turnovers. I had a guy like that, Troy Williams. I had a guy like that early on, Victor Oladipo. You knew he was going to be good. You had to live with some of the turnovers.
How did Oladipo turn out?
He did okay. He got a little bit better as time went on. Coaching didn't have anything to do with it.
Have you heard from him lately at all?
Yeah, I catch up with him now and again. But you got to live with it once in a while. That's what they do with Clark. There's the step back.
Hernandez again.
I was starting to think our scouting was for mute. I thought, where's the step backs at? They're letting him play one-on-one, which is exactly what he wants. Cannot let Hernandez play that way.
19 points in the first half. Trying to get it going is Saunders. An 11-point lead. Just over a minute to go. Let's see how quickly Bats and the Blackbirds try to play. Ill-advised pass and a good steal from Liggins.
No angle on that. Not at all. Attack him again in transition. That's what he did. Oh, my goodness.
Hernandez knocks it away and forces the turnover. Now he has an advantage. Sweet little look, and Clark finishes it.
These guys are in a battle. Reese, they're fatigued, but they're playing through it. They absolutely know what's at stake. A trip to March Madness in the NCAA tournament.
41.5 seconds to go. Joel Hernandez. Here's the technical term for it, Tom. He's balling.
There's no doubt about it. His footwork, he's able to plant that right foot, create that separation. You never want to let a guy get that type of separation that's that comfortable with the step back. You got to take his airspace. And right now, he's taking the air out of this building right now with the way that he's playing. They're trying. This is going to be a major stand here for Wagner to come down and feel good about going into halftime. Get a score, come back and get a stop. And if Wagner or if LIU can get this stop right here and play for the last shot, they are in great position.
Hernandez has outscored Wagner in the first half. He has been hit with a couple of fouls. He's going to watch the rest of the half. They've had some foul trouble. LIU's navigated that foul trouble in the backcourt, and now they can get the final shot of the half.
Let's watch for middle pick and roll or Clark in a one-on-one with Hernandez not in the game at this point. I love the pressure of Wagner. It's going to be a scramble play here at the end. Here comes the one-on-one drive.
Clark pulls up and knocks in the three. Raekwon Clark. LIU closes the half on a 15-2 run. And in this building where the Seahawks are perfect this year, 16-0, they're down 16 at the break.
Well, and Raekwon Clark is an 18% three-point shooter, but he steps up in the absence of Hernandez and knocks down a three. It didn't look pretty, but it went through that net beautifully.
They've made the 13-mile trip to see the championship game from LIU Brooklyn. They're happy so far, Olivia, with Derek Kellogg.
Coach, Raekwon Clark finished the half the right way and had a great game the other night, but tonight it's Joel Hernandez. What's fueling your offense right now?
Well, you know, he's made some great one-on-one plays to get us going. I thought he really has a heart of a champion right now, and he's going out and he's making some plays one-on-one. They play some real tough defense. You have to be able to score over him and through him, and I think he's done a nice job of that.
And the intensity tonight has not disappointed. How do you keep your guys locked in?
Yeah, it's been through the roof on both ends. Defensive battle. Carl's been fantastic. Just a great college basketball game here for the championship.
Thanks, Coach.
All right, thank you.
Got a lot of respect for coaches. They can really dial up some O's and X's, but it's nice if you have a dude who will just get you buckets. Kevin Connors in the studio after these commercials. You're watching ESPN's Champ Week presented by Principal. Northeast Conference Championship, an all-New York City affair. LIU, Brooklyn, and Wagner separated by a mere 13 miles. They are separated by 16 points thanks to Joel Hernandez's big first half. Bashir Mason with Olivia Harlan.
Thank you, Coach. Your top scorer is a combined 2 of 18. How can you generate some offense?
You know what? We just got to get stops. Let's start with us getting stops and then getting out in transition, get some easy baskets to get them into a little bit of a flow.
You haven't lost a home game all season. What was your halftime message?
We haven't lost one and we're not going to lose one.
I like that. Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.
But if they're not going to lose tonight, they have to make the biggest comeback from a halftime deficit for a win they've had all season. Biggest deficit for a win previously was 10. Reese Davis and Tom Crean here. They've got to be better on offense, but they've also got to slow down Joel Hernandez.
They do. He's catching it too easy, and what's happening is he's playing one-on-one basketball. They got to bring the help early. There's got to be an element that they're coming to double, whether they double or not. They've got to get him uncomfortable. Right now, he's the most comfortable guy in the gym, and he's the hardest working guy in the gym. And that is going to be key. I would look for some 1-3-1 if they continue to struggle to stop him. But on the other end, Wagner, just step up, be confident, make the shots, turn in like that, and get yourself going.
A.J. Sumbry gets the second half off to a great start. This one time in the last 5 years as a top seed, won the Northeast Conference tournament and gone on to the NCAA tournament. Wagner, the top seed here tonight.
If I'm Wagner, I'm not panicked at all because you're missing open shots. Now, you got to make those adjustments defensively. No doubt about that. But the bottom line is you're missing open shots. And they're missing Joel Hernandez on blockouts and on one-on-ones and in transition.
He has 21. Wagner has 20. A 16-point lead again for the Blackbirds. First half was a good one for Devin Liggins. That one rims out, but the Seahawks will keep it.
Well, and much better challenge shot there. I mean, they're doing a great job right now, LIU is, in their pick-and-roll defense. They're stopping the ball, they're playing the roll man, and then they're getting back out to the shooter. That was a challenge 3. That's where you've got to drive it and make the next pass, get it swung to the other side.
Blake Francis only 1 field goal in the first half. He's Wagner's leading scorer at better than 17 per game. He's fouled on his way to the basket. Foul is going to be called on Julius Van Sowers. That's his second. By the way, on the subject of fouls, Tom, I think I said at the end of the first half that Hernandez had 2, and I thought that he did, but one that I thought was charged to him was not. So Joel in no foul trouble at all with just 1.
Well, I'm sure the Wagner staff would have liked for you to have been right on that.
Hernandez avoided the foul, and Saunders with a strong move.
Now, and that's what they got to get from Saunders. Saunders can come back down. He's got great feet as well. He can get to the rim. Great curl off that out-of-bounds play. They've got to utilize him more.
Strong move by Augusto, but he couldn't finish it. Here comes JoJo Cooper. Liggins. Bashir Mason calling for the crowd to get behind his Seahawk defense.
Well, you can see the body language has changed right now. They're more talkative. All right, that intent look is there. Let's see where Hernandez goes on this pick and pop.
Hernandez has his man posted. Gets his own rebound. Surrounded by Seahawks. Has it blocked by Sumbry.
See, right there, he's got to kick that out. He's got 3 people on him. All right, that's why you got to bring a double team, or you got to bring some help if you don't want to all-out double Hernandez. He doesn't want to kick it out.
Liggins with a good hustle and the deflection. Cooper, way off. He knew it immediately. Tried to chase it down. Now Julian Batts brings it into the front court.
Good choice by Batts to slow this down, run a set, settle in. They need a bucket to stem the tide and the momentum and get it back in the direction of LIU.
Oh, they ran away from Hernandez. Why would you run away from Hernandez? And Ramon Saunders knows it.
Yeah, they brought the double, then they both left him. You never, ever leave the basketball.
Especially in 0 and black.
Yeah.
That's the basketball.
Yeah. I like the idea, though. They're bringing that second man to him. They've got to make him uncomfortable. He is a bona fide scorer, and right now he's doing everything to prove that. You've got to get him to another place.
Saunders going to try to make him play defense right by Hernandez. Can't finish. Fresh 30 for the Seahawks. Ramon Saunders again. Liggins has it. Liggins.
Great cut. Great read of the defense. Great pass by Ramon because Liggins read it. Just superb finish because he read that his man went to the ball, made the back cut. Excellent look.
Liggins, a kid from Philadelphia with a dozen. He's been their best offensive player so far tonight. Steal by Saunders. And Derek Kellogg's going to want a timeout. Right now, Bashir Mason has his game face on that he used to have when he played D at Drexel. And he liked this dunk from Ramon Saunders. We got a 10-point game.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Doritos, for the bold, and Courtyard, Fairfield, 4 Points, and Spring Hill Suites. We live by the golden rule.
Phillips 66 Big 12 Men's Basketball Championship tips off on ESPNU tomorrow. This is a really important bubble game between the Cowpokes and the Sooners on ESPNU at 7 Eastern time. Oklahoma State among the first 4 out. Oklahoma should be okay with their early season wins. And Texas, last 4 in, they take on the Cyclones at 9 Eastern. It all leads to the championship game. That's Saturday at 6 Eastern on ESPN. Here in the Northeast Conference tournament, the top seed Wagner is on the ropes, down 10. They were down 16 at the half. They've come out better in the second as Raekwon Clark out of New Haven, Connecticut gets a bucket.
Well, he's a great isolation player in the sense that he's so good with getting that ball down, using his length, driving it to the right, and a tremendous call out of the timeout. And if you're Wagner, you got to know that's coming. They want to isolate and get to the basket. Tremendous job of clearing it out.
Here's Saunders. He's been much better in the second half. He drew the foul from Zach Coleman, and he'll go to the free throw line and shoot a couple to try to cut into this lead when you come back to Staten Island.
I'm Trayvon Blewett from Xavier University, a Wood and Ward finalist. And when I step on the court, there's no doubt who the best one is.
Certainly a worthy candidate for the Big East regular season champions, an opportunity to get a 1 seed. You think I'm nuts if I tell you, and part of it's just gut feeling that this will be the year they finally get over the hump. That I don't really care where Xavier is in the bracket on Selection Sunday. I'm putting them in the 4.
I don't disagree. We were asked to do that poll at the beginning of the year for ESPN, and I'm not, as a coach, I'm not into the predictions and those type of things. That forced to do it, I went with Xavier as the national champion. I can still see it. I mean, without a doubt. Trayvon Blewett, has scored over 2,000 points. They've got the inside game. They've got the post game. Their freshmen are getting better, especially Najee Marshall. And all of a sudden, here's Quentin Gooden being as consistent as he has been in a short career, which is the whole key for Xavier to me.
As long as they don't have to play Villanova. They can't beat Villanova, it seems. Well, Villanova has their number. They got a lot of people's number.
Not many can. Yeah, you'd hope that those two would be nowhere near each other. It'd be great for fans to not have to see those two till maybe it was for the whole thing or somewhere in the Final Four.
And I'd rather imagine that'll be the case. Bracketing principles being what they are and whatnot, but both of them with the opportunity to make a run. Derek Kellogg and LIU would just like to get into the tournament. Olivia, what are the Blackbirds saying in their last time out?
Well, Reese, all game, Coach Kellogg has been stressing rebounding, but that everyone needs to be doing it. He said, if the ball goes up, I want you all running to it. But also, he talked to us earlier today about shot selection. He says everyone needs to make that extra pass, get the ball to the hot hand, and we all know who that is.
Yeah, it's Joel Hernandez. Rebounding is a key. The last time these teams played in here, Wagner won the game, but LIU had a 40-29 rebounding edge, which coincidentally is the score right now. Much better to have a points edge than a rebounding edge and lose. Right now the Blackbirds have the 11-point lead.
Well, and they turned that into the free throw line in those previous meetings as well. And Wagner's just been so good in those two games at creating points off turnovers. And in this game, even though there's been a few turnovers and they were more in the early stages, they weren't able to turn those into points. And it kept the crowd from going crazy at the beginning. And then Hernandez went crazy in place of the crowd. And you have the lead. But Wagner is playing much more poise.
Saunders with the miss. And here comes Jayshon Augusto.
Great next pass, but excellent closeout.
Lob and terrific defense from Blake Francis to just take it away. Here's Francis trying to get the payoff after his steal, and foul's going to be called on the inside. Earl Walton. Jack Coleman whistled by Walton for the foul. That's his third.
Tell you what, Reese, this is not a great look. It's a great get down the court. That's not the three you need when you're trying to keep momentum right now. All right, take a dribble, attack the rim. The closeout came at him. You're shooting a jump shot in the line of the defense. You just made a defensive play. Capitalize on this end. They kept the ball, but they've got to get a better shot than that.
And Francis struggling from the field as he did in the first meeting against LIU. He's just 3 of 14 from the floor. I believe he is now 0 for 7 from three-point land, and now make it 1 for 8.
Now that's a great three, and that's something they probably spent at shoot-around today, and they're driving kick drills a good 10 minutes on making that middle drive and passing it to the corner. That's an inside-out attack three. Excellent, excellent basketball.
Now their signature defense. Can they get a stop? They get a turnover instead.
Now, this is where Hernandez, okay, it was going your way in the first half. Rally your team together. Rally them together. He's playing a little winded. It's not going for him. He's still a little ticked off. He didn't get a foul call a couple plays ago. This is where you got to be a senior and lead your team.
Senior leader, JoJo Cooper with the ball for Wagner. He kicks it into the corner. Wiggins left it short, and somebody's going to be called for push-off, I believe.
Another example, JoJo Cooper loves to refuse the ball screens, right or left. Tremendous pass in the corner, but again, credit the LIU defense because they closed it out, took a challenge three, and then it's a loose ball foul on the other side.
Sunbury just picked up his third. Nigel Jackson's headed to the scorer's table for Bashir Mason at the next stoppage. High, low, Clark, catch, bucket.
Can't do it. He's too good. He's so good from the three-point line on in, and I know he's got a three tonight. But you cannot play him one-on-one from the elbow on down. Too easy of a pass inside. Oh, bad shot.
Terrible.
Oh, come on. You are down 10.
Now Batts Didn't get rid of it soon enough, so the fast break opportunity goes awry. Undeterred, Bass just takes it himself.
Exactly. A shot like that is like a turnover because it's got no chance to go in. Make the next pass.
He threw up another one, but this time it was as he was being fouled. Julius Van Sowers fouled Francis.
I can't imagine there's many gyms in the country that got two teams playing harder than this, but you've got to play more under control if you're Wagner right now. The strength of your team is your team. It's the next pass. It's not manufacturing drives that the referees are never going to give you a call on because you look out of control driving it to the rim.
That foul was before Francis threw up the shot. It's the 5th team foul. So still one more foul can be committed by the Blackbirds before Wagner goes to the free throw line. They need to get this guy going offensively. JoJo Cooper has been productive in assists, but not so much scoring. Right on cue.
Sure was, Reese. Good call. Let's go play the lottery when we leave here.
Headed toward the 12-minute mark. LIU Brooklyn trying to go to the tournament for the first time since 2013. Wagner has been there once in 2003. And Liggins is going to be called for the foul, much to his chagrin. Devin Liggins thought that he had a good defensive play, but he is whistled for the foul. The top seed in the Northeast Conference, their leading scorer, Blake Francis, his first 3 of the night. And JoJo Cooper, their leader, hoping to get a rally down the stretch.
And the Mercer Bears will win their first SoCon title. The celebration is on for Susie Gardner and her team.
Lipscomb has its first date with the dance.
It is that time of year when Joe Lunardi rivals Seth Greenberg to try to be on every TV show that there is as we go to Joe Lunardi live in the Infinity Bracket Bunker. Joe, we're here at the Northeast Conference Championship game. LIU Brooklyn up 44-34 on Wagner. Winner of this game gets what seed, and does it depend on which team wins where the seeding would be? A double dribble is called here. Joe, that sets what's going on here, but not too far from where we are. The ACC tournament, Notre Dame presents one of the most compelling cases as we head towards Selection Sunday. What's the Irish's position situation right now and the opportunity in front of them? I certainly think so, Joe. And the other thing to remember, if they can get by Virginia Tech, man, they've had as much success against Duke as anybody in recent years. With a healthy Colson, that would help. Give me a quick vibe for what you have in the Big 12 with Oklahoma and Oklahoma State playing early. Joe, we appreciate it. We'll hear from you throughout the weekend. That is Joe Lunardi, who was live in our Infinity Bracket Bunker.
I don't know how anybody could look at Oklahoma State, and I don't mean this towards Joe, because I think Joe does as good a job as anybody could possibly do with all this. How could anybody look at Oklahoma State and not think that that team is not one of the best 64 to 68 teams in this country? Nobody beats Kansas twice ever, and they did. They've gone to West Virginia. Mike Boynton has done a fantastic job, and that team comes at you. They can score in transition, they can score in the half court, and they defend you.
Foul was called on Saunders. That's his third. Tom, to your point, you know, we like to remind people, Joe is predicting, and he's very good at it, what the committee will do. What I like to hear from you guys is you guys are experts. You should be telling the committee what they should do, and I agree with you completely. I think the Cowboys have enough wins that they ought to be in good position right now to be in the tournament. Wagner not in good position at the moment and couldn't get the ball to go their way. Three ball from the corner from Augusto couldn't go, and have a foul called on the push. They're going to get Von Sowers on that.
There's been a few of those tonight. They got that one. You cannot push in that lower body to create that leverage. Upper body, shoulder area, you can get away with. You start pushing in that lower back area, no way.
Von Sowers, who is a big guy who has been known to get in a little foul trouble and starts but plays limited minutes for LIU, goes to the bench with 4 fouls. Jack Coleman patrolling the middle now for LIU as they try to hold this 12-point lead. JoJo Cooper has it knocked out of bounds. Raekwon Clark very active. You know, LIU, not noted for its defense, but I know Wagner's been a little out of sorts, but they played really good defense today.
They really have. Derek Kellogg is an aggressive, like Calipari says, Derek Kellogg is going to change up the game. He's going to be the aggressor in the game, and I don't think there's any question that's his mindset. And they're doing that. I mean, they're fearless. That was, I think they got away with a bit of a hold on Cooper's drive, but he's got to find a way to go in there and draw the contact and finish that. They've got to do a better job of going somewhere off that first dribble, creating more separation and space in their first dribble for Wagner.
That last three was much needed for them, and now they're showing him a little wrinkle on defense here.
Yep. And if they can get him to settle for jumpers with that zone defense, but again, Hernandez. That's his third offensive rebound for a basket in this game.
Every loose ball has gone LIU's way. In many cases, they've out-hustled Wagner. Other times, the rolls just seem to be in their favor tonight. Here come the Blackbirds on the run, and Cooper grabbed Augusto as he was going by to the basket. It's his second.
Well, the game comes down to 50-50 balls. All right, it's a 50-50 ball right there. Hernandez jumps a little higher, finishes it. You've got to get a body on everybody when that shot goes up, especially when you're in zone.
Hernandez has 25 tonight in this tournament. He's been averaging 25.5. This is his third tournament game.
Reese, we talk all the time as coaches. You want your team, when it comes to the 50-50 game, you want them at the end of the game to know we got 70% of those 50-50 balls. Because if you get 70% of them, the odds are really in your favor. You're going to win. And right now, LIU is above that. I don't know the exact math, but the look test says they're getting the majority of the loose balls.
Hernandez might have had a chance to the shot himself, but he gets the assist. The three in the corner from Zach Coleman. Coleman, a 28% three-point shooter, has pushed the lead back to 14.
Throw the percentages out the window. It's March.
And the answer from Ramon Saunders. He'll have a chance for a three-point play.
Raekwon Clark finished the half with a three. He's 18%. Coleman in the corner. He's 28%. Great pass.
The foul was called on Coleman, who just hit that three ball, and that's his fourth foul. And Von Sowers will come back with 4 fouls of his own.
Well, that's what they've got to get from Saunders. There is no doubt. Get that shoulder drop. He loves to drive it right off that left area. They didn't bring any help. He created the contact. Excellent play.
Saunders now with 8 points. It's about 6 below his average. 11-point game. Plenty of time as we head toward the 8-minute mark of the Northeast Conference Championship game.
Good post defense by Liggins because they want to go inside. Now they're going to force a tough one here.
Augusto to Van Sowers tipped it back up, and Sumbry clears it away. Saunders took a spill on this end. Incidental contact, no call. JoJo Cooper, who struggled with his shot tonight, calling for the ball. And Cooper is blocked by Jayshon Augusto, who's had plenty of foul trouble tonight, and that is 4 on Jayshon Augusto. So the fouls piling up on the Blackbirds. Can they continue to hold their lead? Zach Coleman knocked down the 3, an 11-point edge with 7:12 to go.
That will be all for the 2,000-point scorer, Tyler Nelson, the senior for Fairfield.
They recruit to love each other. You can see that's the way Sidney Johnson feels.
It is that finality and that emotion that you see time in and time out, and there's been so much emotion in this building. Wagner lost a home game in the Northeast Conference Tournament 5 of the last 6 seasons. 2 years ago, they were the 1 seed, did not win at home. Last year, a higher seed and lost on a prayer shot, and now find themselves down 11 with 7:12 to go.
Well, the most anxiety Bashir Mason is going to feel all night is right now, because it's an 11-point game. There's still plenty of time, but it is crucial between now and the next TV timeout that this thing is cut down somewhere in that 5, 6, 7, even possibly 8 range. But and then Derek Kellogg is going to have the stomach of all stomachs in that last 4 minutes, because then he'll smell it being put away.
JoJo Cooper shooting for his 8th point tonight. Olivia, what happened in the last huddle for the Seahawks?
Guys, Bashir Mason is not shy to remind his team how many points they were down and how many points they are down now. His biggest defensive adjustment was don't give up the baseline, force them to go in the middle.
Back to single digits and full court pressure. Augusto got in the air, and he's very lucky he didn't turn the ball over.
Olivia makes a great point with them wanting to get the ball in the middle. They have been better this half at bringing help to those drives. But when it gets to the baseline, they're in scramble mode, and that's where we've seen some of those kickouts.
And Sowers playing with 4 and goes to the bucket and scores.
I did not realize he had that type of burst on that first dribble. And this is a coming out party more or less for him with that driving game.
Had to drive in the first half, drive in the seconds, and now he's got 4 points to go with those 4 fouls.
Yeah, Ben Sowers is a guy that likes to be in the pick and roll game and pop. And right now he is just attacking. He's taking the spirit of this entire team. Tough shot.
And a lot of contact inside. And that foul is on Van Sowers, and I believe, and if so, his night is done. It is, and he is.
Well, they'll bring in Zach Coleman now, who's playing with a ton of confidence. We saw the corner 3. He's been on the glass. It gives them another guy that brings tremendous length defensively, and he is not a guy that the ball is going to stop with. So if the shot is not there, he can keep it going.
But Tom, he too playing with confidence and playing with 4 fouls.
Yeah, well, it's crucial. That's why if there's going to be a run inside of Wagner, change the complexion of the game. If Clark's your biggest guy in the game, then you can guard him with the 5.
A.J. Sumbry's a 55% free throw shooter.
Sumbry gets so wide in his base at the foul line, and he drops his shoulders come back. When he follows through, there he fell off the line. First one was excellent.
And Liggins beats everybody to the ball, and Saunders, Bats gave a little push to create some position for that. Another foul on the Blackbirds, and it again was the right call.
An open 3 from Saunders. He kind of shot that one and jackknifed a little bit instead of holding that follow through. Again, the looks have been open for Wagner. If they end up not winning this game, they're going to go back and see Tremendous opportunities that they had if the shot just would have fallen on open jump shots. Big free throw. If he can get 2 in a row, that's added offense right here for a 55% foul shooter. Got it.
And the lead is 8, full court pressure.
Or as Robbie Hummel would say, bonus offense. I like that term.
Jayshon Augusto, who has an 11-year-old, had a viral YouTube video of him handling the ball. He'll have to show those handles in the face of an elite defender in Cooper.
And right now, make that next pass. That's what Derek Kellogg wants to see from him. Keep making the game simple.
Coleman runs away from the potential ball screen. Augusto gets in the paint.
Not a good shot.
The foul is going to be called on A.J. Sumbry inside, and that's going to be his 4th. 6th team foul against Wagner with the next one. Blackbirds will be shooting free throws. New York Life ACC tournament continues at Barclays Center in Brooklyn. Start things off at noon Eastern. Florida State and Louisville. Louisville among the first 4 out, according to Joe Lunardi, who you heard from a little while ago. All culminates with the championship game Saturday night, 8:30 on ESPN. College game day at Barclays Center this weekend as well. And all of a sudden, the officials giving those whistles a workout, but I haven't seen really anything I've disagreed with.
No, I haven't either. I haven't either. Reese, repeat that statistic. Louisville and Syracuse had not won an ACC tournament game.
Wow. Our game day researcher Brian Ives pointed out to me last weekend.
Tournament basketball is a tough time of year. I mean, it really is, and it's such a grind during the season, and then to be able to regroup that quickly, it takes a lot out of you.
And both of those teams can ill afford to have that happen this week. We have another look at the bracket. Syracuse right now is playing Wake Forest. Winner gets Carolina, who after those last 2 losses in the regular season tumbled all the way to the 6th seed. Huge game on ESPN2 tomorrow night between the Fighting Irish and the Hokies, with the winner getting Duke.
Think about how good your league is when North Carolina's the 6th seed. Think about that for a minute. Ponder that thought.
That's how tight everything was. Had they won at Duke Saturday night, they would have been the 2 seed.
It just goes to show, and that's why Notre Dame belongs in the tournament. They really do. That the level of some of these conferences right now, the ACC obviously takes a backseat to no one.
Joe Cooper with a huge 3 and one that Wagner needed. It's a 7-point game.
Very workable margin if you're Bashir Mason and Wagner right now. Very workable margin. Keep moving the ball.
Cooper's a tough guy, the undisputed leader. He rebounds, he leads the league in assists, and he knocked down the long 3.
Well, he's excellent at changing direction, right to left in that case, and left to right, because he sets you up. And LIU just fell asleep on the ball. Augusto's got to stay with the ball. The screen came, there was no communication on it. He got too much separation, and he knocks it down. The last thing you want to give the home team right now is open 3s to guys that have been struggling.
Olivia, a lot of this is about JoJo Cooper and his senior year getting to the tournament.
Oh, that's right, Reese, and I talked about it at the top of the game, but this summer, Coach asked all the players to write on a piece of paper why they picked to come here and why they stayed, especially as things didn't go their way. Well, JoJo wrote on his card, I've got unfinished business and I have to win an NEC championship. Today, he's giving everything he has to make that card come true.
Olivia, we were talking to Bashir Mason today, saying that this night had to end with him embracing JoJo Cooper, with them on their way to the tournament, but they've got work to do if that vision is going to become reality.
I like the defense. They're in their 1-3-1 with Ramon Saunders in the middle. They're matched up on the bottom. Excellent defensive coverage.
Raekwon Clark, haven't heard from him for a while.
Too easy of a pass off the wing. When you're playing one-on-one, in that zone, you have got to put pressure on the ball. They made a direct line pass to Clark, and he makes a direct line dribble to the rim.
And Clark, it looked as if he got a clean block with just a little bit on the arm as Liggins was going to the bucket.
Yeah, when you look at this play, okay, you're playing the zone, you're manned up, there's no hands up. All right, you're coming with 2 defenders, neither guy gets a hand up. They're late on the bump. All right, nothing from Francis, direct line, nobody's guarding. okay, Clark right now one-on-one and put the pressure on the ball. It's been a problem for Wagner all night. The pass that leads to the pass or the help, all right, that's not there, especially going back to the first half when Hernandez is in the driving game.
How about Liggins' night tonight with 14 points? He's kept Wagner afloat as they've been fighting uphill all night long.
Very workable margin again, getting ready to head to that last TV timeout. Big possession. Who's going to be the catalyst for either team right now?
That's almost lost it. And a foul was called on Liggins as he was trying to handle Raekwon Clark in the post. That's his second. Team's 8th foul, so Clark will go to the free throw line where he's a pretty good shooter at 76%.
He is. He's much better there. He gets fouled a lot, and he's a force. And they want to go in one-on-one to him, so the pressure on the ball is so important.
Missed the front end. Wagner can get it to 5, maybe 4 with a triple.
A score here, and the roof may blow off this place right here before the next timeout.
Inside 4 minutes. Liggins for 3. Tried to save it, and it'll be Blackbird basketball. A 7-point lead for the 4 seed. 3 minutes and 46 seconds separating them from a trip to the dance.
ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is brought to you by Principal, Investments, Retirement, Insurance, and Taco Bell. Try the new $1 nacho fries, here for a limited time.
SportsCenter at night, Steve Levy, Kenny Mayne, that's not either of them there. Those presented Viking. They'll have SportsCenter after the West Coast Conference Championship game, Gonzaga and BYU. Houston and Oklahoma City, Rockets trying to win 16 in a row. Sixers trying to get to that 3 seed. Joey brackets, 5 more tickets punched tonight. That's SportsCenter tonight on ESPN and on the ESPN app around 11 o'clock Eastern time. I want to throw a number at you here, Tom. LIU Brooklyn this year, when leading at the 5-minute mark, which they were tonight, 16-0, which is the same record that Wagner has at home this year. Something's got to give in the last 3:46.
Well, there's no question about it. Right now, it's not only taking care of the ball and getting great looks so they can get to the foul line at LIU, it's making sure they're getting back in transition, because Wagner is going to be in a serious scramble game to get back to the rim. Not important that they have to score immediately if it's not there, but if they can attack him in transition to get the foul line themselves, they get a chance to set their defense.
That gets it to Clark. Double right at it.
Great double. Great choice. They weren't ready for it.
Clark somehow gets away and scores.
He split the double. They had him pivot twice out in the weak side, or out with the ball. He turned and got it. He is so good getting his shoulder drop, putting it in his right hand, getting in a straight line.
That's 15 points. None bigger than those two.
That's the definition. I'm sorry, Reese.
No, go ahead.
That's the definition of making something out of nothing, right there.
You mean chicken salad out of otherwise? And the foul as Augusto was trying to get away. Man, oh man, could this turn out to be a huge bucket for the Blackbirds?
They brought the shock of the defense right there with the double team. He clears it. He takes that first step, drives around. The defender off the weak side needed to be all the way outside of the paint, but they had him stopped. They had him stopped, but he pivoted, put the dribble out, used the backboard. Just a pivotal basket right there when momentum was up for grabs.
And now Deshaun Augusto, the sophomore out of Seattle, stretches the lead back to double figures.
Clark infuses so much energy in this team because he can drive it. He knows who he is. And he made the 3 earlier in the game, but he absolutely knows what kind of player he is, and he doesn't try to do what he can't do. Tries to make some passes he can't make, but offensively and defensively, he is very, very solid for Derek Kellogg.
Less than a minute ago, Wagner had a chance to get it to 5 or 4. Now the lead is back to 11. Cooper throws it right into the Wagner bench. It has been a frustrating night for JoJo Cooper, who has been a terrific player.
Well, we didn't see the beginning of that, but Augusta has done a fantastic job of guarding the first 2 dribbles of Cooper. He's not going for the refusal lately. He stayed in front. They collapsed on the ball. There was nobody there for the kick out except the out-of-bounds line.
Elijah Davis has the foul called on him.
Watch Augusta. He doesn't buy it. He sees the screen, but he reacts, gets his chest in front, which is so important. By guarding that dribble and not putting his team in scramble mode, it allows them to rotate down and help. And credit Augusto for what he has done the last few minutes with keeping Cooper in front of him, because Cooper is definitely trying to take this game over with the drive.
28 now for Joel Hernandez. Historically, LIU Brooklyn is 5-3 in NEC championship games. Wagner has been just 1-3. It has been the source of much heartbreak. And while history doesn't determine what happens in the present, it appears that we are on our way to repeating another chapter for both of these teams, unless Saunders and the Seahawks can come up with a near miraculous finish in the last 2:32.
Well, that's a good start, because it didn't take very much time to get that foul. And he needs to make these 2 so they can set their defense. We'll see some full court pressure. You know, it's definitely too early to foul. You've got to get a couple stops in a row. But let's make, this is where Wagner's got to be good. They love that 3-quarter pressure. They've got to come up with some full court pressure, try to get some steals and a trap here inside of the backcourt. We're going to let them bring it down. They're more in the 3-quarter range.
Clark all the way. JoJo Cooper gets his own. He'll reset it. We're headed toward the 2-minute mark. Saunders with the layup and a quick timeout for Wagner. If it does come down to free throw shooting, LIU is just under 70% on the season, but the guy who has dominated this game, the best player on the floor, has been Joel Hernandez.
There's no doubt about it. And Raycon Clark has been fantastic this half, but it all starts with Joel Hernandez, a way to create space, create separation. He played so well in the first half because they didn't bring any doubles. That step back, that miscue as far as who's guarding him. And then these offensive rebounds, Reese. He has been a terrorizer on the glass and has capitalized on every offensive rebound he's had.
You think about what Derek Kellogg has been able to do. Kellogg replaced Jack Perry, whose contract was not renewed despite the fact that they finished 2nd in the NEC last year. There was no head coach for a month or so for LIU Brooklyn. Kellogg had to come in, win the trust of his team, and now if they can hold this double-figure lead for 205, they're going to the tournament for the first time in 5 years.
And we were talking to him before the game, Reese, and you could just tell when he started recanting that first visit with the team. He just went in there and told him who he was, who he coached, who he'd worked for, and how they planned to do it and planned to win. And to have a guy that comes in here with that credibility of what he did as a player, but very importantly with what he did as a coach, and what he did at UMass even. And I know that wasn't a great ending, but credit Derek Kellogg for wanting to get right back at it, coming back into this area, bringing his family back home, and going at it with Long Island.
Now Hernandez is going to go to the free throw line. You know, when we were talking to Derek before the game, I asked him, you know, what it would mean to get to the tournament, and I thought it was really interesting because he said that it would vindicate their hard work. Technically, you might say that he meant it would validate their hard work, but in many ways, for a coach who has been fired as Derek was at the end of UMass, it is a vindication to come in the first year, put a team together, pick 6 in the preseason, and if they can hang on here, go to the NCAA tournament.
Well, you said it exactly right, because the only person that he didn't mention that he wouldn't be happy for was himself. And The bottom line is, I love his confidence. And no matter what, when you change jobs like he did, all right, and you're reeling on that end, and you come in and you bring it all to your team this way, I think we're seeing the product. They buy into him. They buy into his staff. He's got an excellent staff over there with Marlon Williamson, Jim Mack, Ralph Oriental. Those guys do a really good job. But Derek Kellogg is the one that puts that hammer down every day to get them to understand how hard they have to play, and we're seeing it tonight.
91 seconds left. Still a lot of time. This is a 9-point game right now. And Bashir Mason calling the timeout. That is the trophy that will go to the victor. The Nets also, the most important thing, the trip to the NCAA tournament.
Well, their outstanding commissioner, I worked with her when I was at Marquette. She was at Conference USA. Noreen Morris, she's here. She's done a fantastic job. They've done an excellent job building just the rep of this league and the promotions and the way, and there's such good basketball preparing for this league championship. When I found out I had the assignment with you, which was huge bucket list, okay? But then getting a chance to watch these teams, you go, wow. I mean, they are good. These are some athletic, hard-playing, aggressive teams that are more skilled than people realize. But you said it earlier, they are balling tonight. There is no doubt about it.
I've been so impressed with Hernandez, fifth-year guy. Easy to be impressed when you score that number of points. He was held to 12 the last time they played Wagner here. Since then, he has not been held below 20. Tonight he has 30 after averaging 25 and a half in the first two games of this tournament. But still a chance for the Seahawks. Bashir Mason is reading a book called Finish Strong. He finished it this afternoon. Can his team finish strong and pull one out of the fire? And a travel. There's a turnover, and there's a start for Wagner.
Well, I don't know what page getting a turnover coming out of that timeouts in that Finish Strong book, but they read it. Oh, there's still time. I mean, that's what it takes so long for players to understand. There is a lot of time to come back in the game.
See if they can get a quick hitter off the baseline underneath. Francis, a look. Rims out. And the foul is going to be called on Liggins as Clark had the good position for LIU Brooklyn.
Well, missed three, but no time really comes off the clock on the foul. And again, when you're playing a seconds game like it is right now, not a minutes game, but a seconds game, whether he makes two or not, you got to come down and have a great plan to get a great look right here. You do not have to get a three. You've got to come down and get a basket or a foul.
Well, Wagner won't have to, as Liggins just fouled out, by the way. They won't have to look very far down the stat sheet to see what went wrong. 6 of 31 from beyond the arc. This is a team that on the season has been solid at 36% from three, but tonight it hasn't gone that way. 1 of 2 from Clark. 4-possession game. Mason telling his team the urgency with which they need to play.
Very good substitution right there, not only because of the fouls for Derek, but because they weren't allowed to get that ball into the basket and get exactly what they wanted.
Francis step back for 3. He's had a tough night, and it all seems to be slipping away from the Seahawks now.
This is tough to watch this for them. They did not need the 3 there, Reese. And especially a step back 3 fading away and almost running into the Gucci row seats. Keep attacking, make the next pass. There's still time to make the play.
Wagner went the entire season perfect at home, 16-0. And in the most important moment, Blackbirds going to come across into Staten Island and swipe away the tournament bid and break Wagner's heart again, it would appear. What a performance by LIU on the road. They've got a contingent of fans across the way that are starting to celebrate it up. But Ramon Saunders won't quit. Back to a 9-point game, headed toward the 1-minute mark. Got the trap, the turnover. Elijah Davis puts it home. 7-point game. And the Blackbirds are going to get a timeout before things get a little too frenzied here. So don't turn away just yet.
Good timeout call right there. All right, he didn't waste time. 2 possessions right there, they get 4 points. You go back to that 3 that Augusta had coming out of the corner. When you look back at the end of the game, those are the plays that hurt you. You're still in the game. Don't try to make something that's not there. Great defensive play. He gets it too far into the corner. All right, the sideline becomes a problem. Elijah Davis steps into the pass, gets a steal, turns it in. They're right back at it. But credit Hernandez for not trying to force a pass in, because the only passes that were open were the passes to the corner on this inbounds play.
Tom, you know, when you have a big lead like this, it's hard in the moment, but if you get trapped and you have a lead like that, anything's better than a live ball turnover.
No question, because you have the arrow
kick it out
right
of bounds,
sure.
do anything. Clock was running after a basket with under a minute to go. Is that what he said?
Yep, so they're looking at a timing error. It'll take us a little bit. They'll get it right. And this is where every split second matters in this game right now if you're Wagner. So you know you definitely want that right. And if you're Derek Kellogg, you'd like that to stay instead of 55.6, you'd settle for 5.6.
Earl Walton and Robert Riley over there looking at him.
This is a very good crew. You had those two with Donnie Epley. Saw these guys quite a bit in the Big Ten. Doing a game like this, you know it's been well officiated. I think it's been outstanding. I mean, it's been outstanding the whole night the way they've called it. They've let them play. They've been aggressive. They've let these teams play to their strengths.
Okay, I think what they're saying is that the ball went through before, so it didn't have to stop because they didn't add any time to it. So now a foul with 52.7, and Clark's going to go back to the free throw line.
That's exactly what you want to get at the end of the game, okay? Try to get a 5 count by the denials and the pressure that you put on the ball. Try to get a steal on the inbounds. Try to get a tie-up on the trap. And if it's not there and there's this little amount of time left, don't even wait for the next pass, all right? You don't want to make all the plays in the backcourt. Good time to foul.
Double bonus, so every foul will be 2 shots. One of 2. Saunders pushing, goes to the bucket. Just can't get it to roll in. Fight for the ball, and a travel is called. And Wagner will maintain possession, 44.4. How many balls have just rolled off the rim tonight?
They really have. You know, Wagner will be that will be the story of the game when they look at their offense at the end. They've certainly taken some shots you'd want back, but they missed some open shots. That was a great move by Saunders. It just didn't go.
Cooper directing a little traffic.
Francis on the 3.
Tip won't go. Cooper had it knocked away by guess who? Hernandez. And if that's not a microcosm of this night, I don't know what is. The ball went all the way around the rim, popped out. Offensive rebound. Couldn't quite corral it. And look who did. Joel Hernandez.
We can give him the player of the game, the glue guy of the game, you name it. He's deserved it tonight, from start to finish.
Guy who thought last season would be his final one until he broke his wrist in the season opener. Redshirt senior. 38 seconds away from going to the tournament. He has 31.
He's such a good three-point shooter. And you know what I've liked when I've watched him on film? I would say, you know, he's settled here, or he's settled there. He's not settled at all tonight. I mean, he's been on a mission for this team to get to that rim, to rebound the ball, to take good shots, to hit the open man. And I think if we went back and looked at how many people hit the ground and had the most floor burns, we're probably going to have him be the winner in that as well.
He's tied his career high with 32 points. Francis trying to get by Hernandez, and Joel has the ball. And is knocked away, knocked out of bounds, and the Blackbirds are starting to celebrate. At least the fans are. They're going for the trap. If Wagner's going to foul, they need to go ahead and do so. If not, they're going to
they're about
concede.
10 seconds too late.
And they foul now. I'm not really sure why. If you're going to continue to extend the game, you don't just do it immediately.
Because Coach Mason was bringing them up to get the ball at midcourt. Really needed a foul in the backcourt when they didn't get the steal or the tie-up. But you cannot let it get into the front court, not with that little time. I'm sorry, go ahead.
They're taking JoJo Cooper out of the game, and Bashir Mason is asking the crowd to give him a well-deserved standing O. That's not the moment he envisioned. He envisioned it being at the end of a victory. But instead, it is going to be LIU Brooklyn going to the NCAA tournament for the first time since 2013 and the 7th time in school history. The Blackbirds are champions of the Northeast Conference. That 13-mile trip, which can take 25 minutes or 3 hours and 25 minutes, depending on traffic, is going to seem like a short little jaunt, as the Blackbirds will go home with the Northeast Conference Tournament trophy and knowing that they will play another day in the NCAA tournament. Wagner guaranteed a spot in the NIT as regular season champions. Final score 71-61. LIU Brooklyn wins it. For Olivia Harlan and Tom Crean, I'm Reese Davis. Thanks to our entire great crew who did such a great job. Summit League Championship coming up next.